everybody feeling fine. There ain't no business like show business, baby.
Show
It is showtime. We're
and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a good time, each and every one.
It's my first time here. It's great to be nominated, and had a lot of people that worked very hard on the project, so I'm glad that our work is recognized.
What was it like actually trying to recreate that club? Did you do a lot of research to really get the details?
We did an immense amount of research, and we had the cooperation of the archivist at Playboy Enterprises. His name is Aaron Baker. He was indispensable, the information he was able to give us. So, it was a project that I was excited about when I first read about it, when the pilot was greenlit, and I went after it and was lucky enough to get the job, and it was the kind of thing that was really spoke to me design-wise.
It seems like there was a lot of really lush material and some really great structures of the chairs and tables and just
all
everything
the
there.
furniture, the costumes. The best part was seeing, once the sets were done, seeing what the costume designer brought in, seeing everyone in period wardrobe, and seeing the space filled, and it was really amazing.
Did you work closely with the costume designer, especially with those types of outfits, working around everything that they had to walk around to kind of make it easier for them?
We collaborated on, we always try to collaborate color and make sure that that's all working together. I know they had a hard time, just the bunny outfits are, not comfortable, and the girls, like, they can't really sit down in them.
So you didn't have to really worry about anything that would disrupt the costume.
Yeah, they weren't going to be comfortable no matter what we did.
In finding that type of furniture and outfitting the rooms, did you have to actually do a lot of your own fabrication?
Yeah, we did quite a bit of custom fabrication. There were things like in the Playboy Mansion that were custom pieces back then. It's not the kind of thing you could find now, even in high-end mid-century shops. So we did an immense amount of custom fabrication and other things for the club that we just needed in such quantity, like light sconces, things like that. There was no way we'd be able to find period sconces in that kind of quantity at a price point we could afford. So it was that kind of thing that we ended up making ourselves. It was the only way to make it happen.
Do you have regular companies or people that you reach out to that help you?
Omega Cinema Props did quite a bit of work for us. We had our own crew, made a lot of it. So it was a combination.
Nice. When you were approached to work on Anonymous, what was it that really inspired you to get involved? Was it the fact that it was period?
Well, really, I was just humbled to be chosen by Roland Emmerich to do such a movie. And it was, it's a great script. It's a great theory about the fact that Shakespeare might not or is not the true author of all the plays. So that was interesting. And then, of course, the fact that it was playing in the 16th century and we had to rebuild the Globe Theatre in full scale, and an entire street that is based in the 16th century London. That was a challenge. So that was quite good.
What kind of material were you using for that sort of construction and recreation?
Basically, the whole movie is constructed.
But especially in regards to the theater, what kind of what was the actual material that you acquired to build it?
Basically wood, bit of plaster, a lot of paint. No, but actually it was built like a real wooden structure, like a timber work, so it was all pretty much the original product that we used.
What was your research like? How did you go about finding out all of the intricacies of building, trying to recreate this?
Yeah, the good thing was that I had about a week with Roland in London and around England, looking for locations that we then decided not to use, but it was a good research. Then I went, of course, to a lot of museums in England, and most probably bought every book available on the 16th century Elizabethan architecture, and the internet is a good source to recruit information.
Have you worked on other period pieces before?
I've worked on *Inglourious Basterds* beforehand as a supervising art director, so that was a bit period, yeah.
It's interesting to think about.
I've done *The Pianist* as an art director with Roman Polanski and Alan Starsky as designer. So yeah, I've done a couple, but that was most probably the oldest, the 16th century.
You've actually had the opportunity to work with some very visually attuned directors, people that are really keen on how things look. What is it like to work with those sort of directors? Do you find you have lots of freedom, or do you enjoy the collaboration with their vision?
Freedom. Well, the good thing is that these directors most probably have a strong vision themselves, and they know what they want, which always helps. That you're not directed in the wrong direction and then you have to return. So that helps a lot. But freedom, of course, is always. I mean, I try to be on Anonymous as accurate as well as an art director on *Inglourious Basterds* as on *The Pianist*. Try to be as accurate, historically correct as possible. But of course, certain elements. I mean, there are no photographs from those times, and so you have to invent a little bit. But it's. I mean, the biggest challenge on Anonymous was that every set was built with a very tight budget. So that was most probably the biggest challenge.
And how much time? What was your schedule like? How much pre-production time did you have?
I had quite a long pre-production. We had about 12 weeks to build, and another most probably 12 weeks of prep before that. So that was ample.
That's nice. Do you have a favorite scene or a favorite aspect of the movie that you created that you really enjoyed or that really struck your sensibilities?
Well, of course, there are a lot of the CG shots that were designed from scratch, like the London Bridge, and where there was most probably a bit more freedom because there's not so many images of that thing. But obviously, the theater itself has the biggest. I mean, designers like to build, so the biggest challenge was the big theater to build that, and that was and then the revamping because we built it as a Rose Theater and then we transformed it into the Globe Theater. So that transition was most probably the best fun.
Very nice.